Hi guys, as promised, for the Christians out there, just demonstrating to you how the Greek New Testament has been constructed to deceive you. Few examples reading from the closer Gospels, being the account of the Essenes. Jesus was an Essene, the Christ family were Essene. The Christ family spoke Aramaic. The Bible that you're reading and defending to death is put together by Lucifer. Freemason scholars, 47 of them under the lead of Francis Bacon, who was Freemason and homosexual. They all understood Greek gematria, which is the numerical equivalent for alphabets. When Jesus sent his angel, Michael, to give the revelation to John on the Isle of Patmos on the 96th day of the year in the year 96 AD, he said, I'm the Alpha and Omega. That was a great big clue. Think of it as Blue's Clues, guys. It's a treasure hunt to decode the deception that all mankind has fallen under. Nobody has escaped it. The Alpha and the Omega, Alpha being the first letter and Omega being last letter, and all letters in between, and then numerical equivalents. All alphabets can be used as gematria. A is pretty simple, 1 through to 26, A through to Z, 1 through 26. In the Greek alphabet, the numbering system is a little different. The first 8 letters are 1 through 8. The next grouping of 8 are 10 through to 80, and then the third grouping of 8 letters is 100 through to 800. And similarly for the Hebrew alphabets. So it's all about the numbers. That's where Scott Onstott got it right. It's all about the numbers, not where the decimal points go, all about the numbers. And that's the only thing that makes the King James Version of the Bible holy. It's not so much the words. They have been manipulated, they have been omitted, they have been constructed. You need to know, Christians, that the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, the God they are worshipping is Lucifer. Can you imagine Jesus commanding an army to rape, pillage, murder women, children, keeping small virgin girls for themselves? Can you imagine Jesus telling Moses to stone a man to death for picking up sticks on the Sabbath? No. That God is Lucifer, who demands blood sacrifice. And it's all a construct by the Greek Hellenist Jews. They were Jews who spoke Greek in Alexandria, and they began to put it all together 200 years after the ascension of Jesus. They had the older, closer in accuracy, Aramaic Essene Gospels, and even they have been manipulated, but they are much closer to the truth. So we'll just give you a couple of examples so that you can understand that what you're reading has been deliberately manipulated so that you would reject the Christ in his second coming. You're fulfilling prophecy. You're all Antichrist. And you would defend to death the Bible that is leading you up a garden path. Now, let's go straight to the account of the vineyard prophecy, because this is what we are living out now. First of all, understanding that Jesus and the Christ family were Essene, he was referred to as Jesu Maria. Now, King James understood what the Great Pyramid was all about. In his own writings, he knew that the Great Pyramid in Egypt was all about the revealing of who the Christ is in his second incarnation. His best bud was William Shakespeare, Edward de Vere. It was they who went through the manuscript. They took 18 months to do it, counter-coding the evil works of the Freemason scholars who operated using gematria, that is, numerical values for words. So it's not in the words, it's all in the numbers. They counter-coded. Now, Shakespeare left clues for the Christ in his second incarnation to find them. Knowing that he's identified in the pyramid, he left them clues, as in a treasure hunt, blues, clues, and it is in the changing of the words in the manuscript that was handed to them that Shakespeare went to work and left a few clues, and one of them is in Isaiah 63 verse 2, where the verse reads, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?" Well, where else have you heard those words? How about Romeo and Juliet? "Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou?" Clue, clue, clue. Read the play, which the Christ did, and he finds that there's another great big clue. He knows that he was referred to as Jesu Maria, and here it is in Romeo and Juliet. When two men are having an argument, one of them is cussing, and instead of saying Jesus bloody Christ, he says Jesu Maria. Another clue. Ding, 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 ding. Hello! The Christ returned knows that Shakespeare and King James had access to the secret Aramaic Essene Gospels. And in that is the reference to the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt, which is the Great Pyramid. The word changed in your version that you are reading, where Jesus says, "Have you not heard of the stone that the builders rejected has become the head of," not the corner that your Bible says. What the hell does that mean? It's to confuse you. What he actually says, has become the head of the pyramid. Another big clue. Ding, 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 ding. Clearly visible from Jerusalem was the Great Pyramid, stood out like that neon sign. It was the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt, as referred to in Isaiah chapter 19, verses 19 and 20. It's the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt. So it's not the words in the Bible, it's the numbers. And they become a tool in his second incarnation. So, moving right along and just reading quickly. This is the Gospel of the Holy 12. It was translated from the original Aramaic by Reverend J.R. Ousley. It is closer to the truth, still not the whole truth. So don't get your knickers in a knot, but this is way closer and is what the New Testament is based on, except there's a whole lot more information. It confirms Jesu Maria was conceived after the flesh of Mary and Joseph. It was not an immaculate conception. That's the lie which the Hellenists inserted to stop the genetic bloodline via the natural father of Joseph ben Jacob Israel, leading back to King David of Judah. I'm going to stop right there. Let this one go up and then read to you the actual text in the next bit. Keep these short if I can.